Hey everybody, Dan Tomaszewski here with Everything MSP. Welcome to this month's episode of Elevator Pitch, where we bring on three IT vendors, each of which will give us their elevator pitch. During that 10-minute time, they're going to tell us about their product and service, help educate us so that we can learn about their offering and how we might be able to add it to our stack as MSPs. Of course, we have to avoid complacency. We must stay on top of making sure that the security stack, the overall tech stack that we have in place for our clients is going to help them become, the most efficient, productive, secure, and allow them to have a better client experience, but also allowing us to become more profitable and deliver superior service to our clients. Now, we do have three great presenters today. We have Jason Price with Kaseya, who's going to discuss Datto's backup and business continuity solution. We also have Mark Yak with Sophos, who will talk about endpoint security. And last but not least, we have Peter. How you doing? And he is with TruGrid. He is going to discuss RDP solutions. Now, I want to go over just some general housekeeping about today's events. After each of the three presenters are completed with their 10-minute presentations, we will open up demo rooms. At that time, that will give you the ability to ask any questions that you might have, see some additional hands-on learning that you might be looking for, and great opportunity just to be able to meet with them one-on-one. And you can bounce back and forth between these demo rooms. So if you want to start with one of the vendors and move on to the next and then to the next, you're more than happy to do that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that once each of those presentations are done. Before we jump into those demo rooms, we're going to throw a poll up. So if you've heard something great today from one of the vendors or all of the vendors, and you would like to hear more from them, you can go ahead and complete the poll, and we'll share that information with them so they can reach out to you. And last but not least, we are going to be giving away $250 cash to one lucky attendee today. However, you got to be present to win. So please stay all the way to the end of our presentation after our demo room, and we'll randomly select a MSP to win $250 cash. Who wouldn't like $250 cash, right? And so we're going to kick things off with our first speaker, which is Jason Price with Kaseya. And how are you doing today, Jason?
I am good. And yourself?
I'm doing awesome. And I ask you this question each time, but for any new attendees that aren't familiar with Jason, we're going to have Jason tell us something unique about him that people might not be familiar with. So, Jason, what's something you can tell us about yourself?
Um, t- I think the most interesting thing was probably during COVID. I found a new way to really make my entrepreneurial spirit shine. And I was actually buying up storage units at online auctions, and I spent the 2 years going through probably 100 and something different storage units, right? And some storage
Wow.
units were like pretty crazy, and I found like some cool stuff, gold and old money and coins, and old Salvatore Dali prints and others. I saw the remnants of a drug factory. I mean, it was just all over the place. It was
Wow.
really, really cool.
Breaking
That's
Bad.
probably like
Breaking Bad.
the most interesting thing about me. I also, got engaged last night, so that was pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Very cool. Congratulations. That's cool to hear. That is definitely something very unique. So
Yeah.
everybody else better step up your game there. You better you got to top Jason's engagement there. So um, that's awesome. So Jason, if you want to go ahead and just kick things off, letting everybody know your role within Kaseya Datto. And I'm going to go ahead and start the timer now. You have 10 minutes and it is all yours, my friend.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So thank you. Thanks for having me here. And I am looking forward to talk to you guys about Datto Unified Backup. Datto is a company which is a Kaseya company now. So about 2.5 years ago, give or take, Datto was acquired by Kaseya. Um, and one thing when Kaseya acquires a company, they usually still want it to just run as that company, right? There's a bunch of benefits in terms of integrations, and having the different tools being able to like work together, and you gain tons of efficiencies and automation and things of that nature. But Datto is still Datto and just a part of that Kaseya ecosystem, right? So to little tell you a little bit about Datto, right? It's been over 17 years of innovation. Started in 2007 in Norwalk, Connecticut. That's actually where I was born and raised as well. So I was one of the old school Datto people. Started there, I think 2012 or 13 or something of that nature. It's all a blur now. But it's a company where we have over 1 exabyte of data being protected in our crowd and growing. Just a truly awesome company. So in terms of the Datto, and looking at backup, there's a tiered out phase that we have to get you like onboarded, right? So, one first we want to just get a better understanding of like who you are and what your needs are, what your customers and prospect needs are. We do then a demo with one of our data experts. We then have a conversation around the pricing and what the process of onboarding and becoming a Datto partner is. We then go over the solution once that happens, and then we go into implementation and enablement. So it's not something where it's just like a rush process. We want to make sure that we get it right and that we're setting you up for success, right? So MSPs typically struggling with the same backup challenges, right? It's data lives all over the place, right? You have some customers that are using, Azure. Some customers are using on-prem. Some customers are using other third-party solutions, and that data is all over the place, right? And so one of the challenges is how can you make sure that you use a solution that can look at and be able to protect all that data. The other thing is backup time is consuming to manage, right? You have tons of different portals, sometimes you have, solutions that aren't multi-tenanted. And it can be a pain, right? But with Datto, there's a single portal where you can actually see everything going on on all of your environments. And there's different notifications and alerts that we can set up to make sure that you're not spending time going to look for issues, but when there is an issue, right, or something that is worth noting, we notify you. Backup is complex, right? And prone to a lot of manual errors. So we take the manual out of it and make sure that all the processes are automated so that you eliminate the possibility of like the human component when things fail. And then backup is expensive. It's not very flexible. And so one of the things that we have is we have a whole slew of different products that can, accommodate different types of customers at different price points. And we don't have to worry about, being tied in, right? As we know, data is moving, from, one location to the next location, and the way that people access data is changing. We have provisions to make sure that you can easily flex from one solution or one backup solution to another solution without there being any sort of ramifications. So when we taking a look at the strategy, right, of like what types of questions we're asking, right, to make sure that we're a right fit for you, right? So we want to know, like, hey, like, what are you using now? Like, what are you doing for your current offsite, right? What are you doing for DR management, right? Are the compliance issues, right? What type of environments are you using, right? How many employees are having access to data, right? Are you using the public cloud? Like these are all the things that we have a conversation with you about to make sure that we're setting you up for success, right? And what the goal is to make the complex extremely simple, right? So all those things you have to think about, right? The OS, the virtualization, the recovery testing, right? On-prem backup software, all those things, right? Which are compartmentalized and different, right? Are now integrated in the all-in-one solution that is very, very simple to utilize, right? And so with Datto, right, once again, I mentioned it before, the data is living all over the place these days, right? Whether it's on premise, whether it's on endpoints, through collaboration tools, public cloud. I mean, it's all over the place. And we have different solutions available to make sure that you can make sure that all the data is safe, secured, and easy to be restored if necessary, right? And we have once again different price points for different anticipated outcomes, right? So whether it's just mission support or mission critical, right? As you know, you start looking at like downtime tolerance and the actual cost, right? As you get to something where you need more instant recovery, we have solutions, that can accommodate, and the price, goes up a little bit more, right? And if you look at just some of these examples, right? So in terms of our backup appliance that has the cloud disaster recovery as a service, right? Healthcare EMRs, manufacturing systems, right? And then as you get closer to, I guess, the apex, you start seeing things like file protection and things that are not as critical, right? So it really depends on what you're looking for and what that customer expects, and we can kind of fill in the gaps to see where we should fit into to help accommodate. FlexSpend, I briefly spoke about that. FlexSpend is the ability to reassign your backup spend. So this is actually something that we've um, actually expanded upon, right? This started off with, hey, we have people who are scared to you know do a 3-year commitment on on-prem backup device because their client has had conversations about their want or desire to go to the public cloud, right? And so we want to make sure people feel comfortable, like, hey, you know what, you can get this on-prem device with the contract, and at any point, if we need to reassign it, we can take that money and shift it over to make sure we get back up at the Azure environment or whatever the public cloud environment is. So it started from there, and it now has expanded to all the different products in the fleet. We also have our data backup concierge, right? So we know that sometimes you want to make sure that you have an expert working with you to uncover an opportunity or to do a end user demo, whatever the case may be, or look at a unique environment and spec it out. We have a team that are able to help you with that, right? So we continue to listen. Once again, we have flex spend for backup. We have month-to-month options, and we have catastrophic loss protection. So if you lose like one of your big customers, we're able to step in and work with you to see how we can eliminate that cost that you're going to incur with losing such a big customer, right? So we can have more conversation about that a little bit later. And then we also have free hardware month to month in 1-year contracts with Series 5X and Series 5X4s. All right, so this is a complete and secure, it's a unified experience, right? It's all wrapped around a single portal. That's the Kaseya One portal. All the different Kaseya products live in there. All your billing, your license usage, all of that is in there. And then within there, we have the data backup portal where you can actually see all the different devices that you're protecting, all the different clients. It's multi-tenanted. It's just a one-stop shop to see everything. We have our Datto Cloud. Datto Cloud, it's industry leading, one of the biggest private clouds in the world. We're geographically distributed. We use AES 256-bit encryption. It's just an awesome, resilient cloud. So we are able to back up on-premise workloads, right? So we have our Datto Series BCDR. Once again, full image-based backup, backs up both locally as well as sends data to our private cloud, and then you can be stored from either or. We have our new, or not new, but within the last 2 or 3 years, our backup for Azure, right? As we know that more and more um, companies are going to the cloud, yet this is still one of the top attack vectors. So we have the ability to back up Azure, and we do it at a price point better than Microsoft Azure backup, right? Better price point, and it's more resilient. We're also able to back up all of your different endpoints. So whether it be a remote server or a remote, laptop or desktop, we're able to do that. We're also able to back up Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. So That's something that people often, don't really think about, right? They think it's being backed up by Microsoft or Google, but if you look at their EULAs, it's quite the opposite. You are responsible to make sure that data is secure and recoverable. And then we have our or file protection for Mac and Windows as well. All of this is automated, and integrated. Tons of different integration with the different products that we have at Kaseya. These are just some. The last thing is talk quickly about our Kaseya 365. It's a one subscription. It is actually two subscriptions now. We have Kaseya 365 endpoint, and then we have Kaseya 365 user. In the user, you're able to get our SaaS backup included within that subscription. And then with our endpoint, we have our endpoint backup, which is included in that subscription as well. So those subscriptions run from $1.75 up to $5.25. And typically, if you look at the cost breakdown, if you were to get all those products separately, you're looking at typically between $10 and $22, right? So love to talk to you a little bit more about that and talk about all the different solutions that encompass the Kaseya 365. I don't have enough time right now, but thank you guys for listening.
Awesome. Jason, thank you so much. And I think you hit it perfectly as far as the fact that data is indeed everywhere. And you guys have that ability to be able to tackle that data regardless of where it's at, whether it's on-prem, those mobile users, as well as, of course, that data that's in the cloud, whether it be 365, Google Workplace, and so on. So that's awesome. And Jason will be available in the demo rooms a little bit later for any additional questions that you have and some hands-on. We're going to move over to our next speaker. We've got Mark Yap with Sophos. We're going to be talking about endpoint security. Mark, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Not snowing here like it is in your neck of the woods, so can't complain.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And all right, we got to put Mark on the spot and learn one thing about Mark that nobody else knows, or yeah, that sounds kind of strange, like nobody knows. Obviously some people probably know, but just something unique about Mark that you can tell our audience.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, you probably inspired me to go check my storage locker later too. Maybe I can find some hidden treasures. But one unique part about me, I have an interesting middle name. It's Einstein, as in Albert Einstein. So I think my parents wanted
Nice.
me to be like a rocket scientist, but instead I work in the security industry for Sophos as a channel manager. So pretty close, right?
Absolutely. Very, very close. Security is such a critical thing. And we're thankful for the Einsteins of IT security, right?
Nice.
There we go. I had to throw that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll start your 10 minutes now, and it is all yours.
Excellent. Thanks again for having me. Thanks everybody for joining. My name's Mark, as you saw, and now you know my middle name, Einstein. I've been with Sophos for almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years in January, and time really flies. Sophos has grown a lot. And my goal today is to give you a high-level overview of all the different products and services that we offer through our specific MSP program. We have over 20 security products and services, some great integrations, and really looking to solve some common cybersecurity challenges. So the previous speaker, Jason, also talked about common cybersecurity challenges. So I think it's important to highlight what we're looking to solve here at Sophos, and some of the pain points that you as MSPs may be feeling. So a lot of you may recognize some of these challenges. I won't go through all of them, but most definitely with security over the years, it's evolved. It's getting more complex. There's more tools, more dashboards, logins, a lot of companies to work with, certifications, trainings. As I mentioned earlier, we do have over 20 products and services that we do offer at Sophos, and I like to tell new MSPs that for the average MSP serving the SMB industry, we can probably cover 80 to 90% of your core cybersecurity needs, and you can start by building your stack with Sophos, or you can just use one or two of our products. Dan mentioned that we have a great endpoint product. I'm actually wearing a hat that says Intercept X. That's the name of our endpoint agent. You can use one or two of our products or the whole fleet. We're more than happy to accommodate, and I will share how we price and license. Most importantly, we're looking to solve one of the biggest mistakes in cybersecurity, which is potential misconfiguration. And of course, misconfiguration comes with complexity, more security layers, and all the challenges that you see up top. So we want to make sure that security doesn't work in isolation. We're really closing a lot of the gaps and loopholes that threat actors are looking to exploit, and they are getting better at exploiting these different gaps and loopholes for sure. Hiring and retaining is tough. Just like many other vendors in security, we do have a robust, a very, very good MDR service at Sophos, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And that goes to talk about our threat hunting, detection, and remediation. We're there for you 24/7. So whether it's our support, whether it's our MDR service, I just had our rapid response team contact a partner this morning because they are detecting something potentially suspicious, could be a pen test. But we do have our MSPs backs and their customers 24/7, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, if there's an incident, we do operate around the sun. We own our own support as well. Every support member at Sophos is on the Sophos payroll. We do not outsource that at all. Despite having so many products and services, our MSP channel is special because we don't have any contracts. It's all month to month, and I'll share some of the highlights with that. But just remember that we can accommodate any shape, size, customer, MSP, you name it. We have MSPs that have one firewall with us that are billed monthly. We have some MSPs that have tens and thousands of licenses with a much, much higher spend for sure. Did a training this morning for some new hires at Sophos, and somebody asked me, what's the minimum, what's the max? There is none. We don't have a minimum spend, a minimum quantity requirement, and we don't have any ceilings either. So our MSPs can deploy as much as they want as they grow. Of course, looking to lower the complexity as well as the risk without having the contracts. I know this is a busy slide, but just to give you a quick snapshot of who we are, what we do, I'll pick out a few of the key points here. We do have a large customer base with over 600,000 customers located globally. We do have over 25,000 unique customers on our MDR, which is very, very fantastic. And we are one of the biggest MDR providers in the world. Some of you may have seen Sophos announced just a tiny, small little, actually a very big acquisition recently that is looking to close next year. And that should bolster our MDR service quite a bit as well. We do have over 100 strategic technology partners. Even if you're not using the full Sophos stack, let's say you're using our MDR, our endpoint or server protection, but you still want to use your go-to firewall vendor, talk to us. We still have a way to integrate to your third-party security products, which is fantastic. Again, we're looking to simplify security for our partners, but more importantly, even if you're not using everything with Sophos, we still want to make sure that we can tie into other security layers and reducing those gaps and loopholes that I mentioned. This is a very, very important slide for MSPs. I think you can all relate to this. A lot of tools, a lot of services, a lot of everything. And I think we can all agree that if we centralize some of our products and our tools and have some platform consolidation, we can save a little bit of time in our day. And time is money in the MSP industry. You can spend that time onboarding new customers, servicing new customers, and just really offering better service while outsourcing some of the tasks to a vendor like Sophos with our MDR. Now, this is also a busy slide, but it's a really good depiction of all the products and services we offer at Sophos. Every time I show the slide, even to current Sophos partners, they'll see one or two items that are either new or that they didn't know about. I had a partner email me this morning, and they were asking me, some of my customers are asking about security awareness and training. Their users are clicking on a bunch of emails and links. Any vendors you would recommend? And I said, I'd recommend ourselves. We do have a security awareness and training service here at Sophos as well called Sophos Phish Threat. And most of you are familiar with our core products, such as our endpoint, MDR, XDR. We do have IR services. Even if you're not a Sophos customer, even if you're brand new to Sophos and you're experiencing a breach, you need help. We do have sort of a paramedic service where we can provide IR services immediately, super, super quick for any customers. Of course, if we have customers under our MDR service, that service is included as well. And I won't touch on every single product, but I do just want to show all the different categories. And that's part of the reason why I say, you know what, we can cover about 80 to 90% of most security needs and layers. And then all of this, as a last point, ties into and is managed in Sophos Central. That's our management dashboard. So if you log into Sophos Central, you can manage one customer, one product, or you can manage all products for thousands of customers. It really is unlimited. So that's a good transition to talk about our pricing and licensing and some of the advantages that we have. Again, it's all strictly monthly. We don't have any minimum terms. We don't have terms, in fact. We don't have any minimum commits. We don't have any maximums. It's all month to month based on consumption. So if you do lose a customer, no problem. You'll uninstall. You'll delete the customer from your portal and pay the last month's bill for that specific customer, and then your bill will reduce the next month because it is all strictly consumption based. What else is important here? We do aggregate all your usage across all your customers and various Sophos products, putting it in higher quantity tiers, which, just like any other vendor, the more you deploy, the cheaper the price is because you are hitting those next quantity requirements. No quotes. You simply go into our central partner dashboard. You create your customer, or if it's an existing one, you can deploy existing or new products. So you can upgrade or downgrade licenses easily. I love it when the partner tells me, Mark, had a customer that I've been trying to sell MDR to. They're using your basic Intercept X. I went in the portal, took me 5 seconds to click a button, they're on your MDR. Within minutes, our security operations center is monitoring that customer. So super easy. The bill will reflect the price increase, of course, with the upgraded license. Same goes, and we usually don't see this, but if a customer does want to downgrade their protection, it's the same scenario. You can downgrade the protection, the bill will be lower the following month. Of course, it will be adjusted. What else? No renewals, no expiries. We do have a term channel at Sophos as well, where you can resell term licenses. In that case, it's a little different. We're speaking about the MSP Flex partner program specifically, where everything is consumption based. You own the licenses as well, so customers can't just log into their console and take off. You need to approve everything if they do want to own the licenses in the future or move to another service provider. We do have a good amount of RMM and PSA integrations, including our friends at Datto and Kaseya as well, and a lot of other ones also to help with deployment, ticketing, alerting, you name it. We're building more and more integrations to help you automate your security deployments. I do want to touch on, as a last section here, I do want to touch on our focus on being a cybersecurity as a service vendor. The core product that we have in this category is, of course, our managed detection and response. It's a busy category. There's a lot of vendors out there. We do have some distinct advantages at Sophos. We're one of the largest vendors for MDR, which means we see a lot, we protect a lot, we're able to react a lot, and we have a big team. Out of our 4,200 employees today at Sophos, 500 of those employees are part of our security operations team. So 500 members who are fully protecting your customers with our MDR service 24/7, threat hunting proactively. And if there is an incident, our top tier of MDR, we do the full incident response as well. So that's important to note. We do have a secondary tier where we're notifying, we are providing help, but we're not doing the full cleanup and investigations and remediation. We do have a service, MDR Complete, that will go as far as responding on your behalf. And I think I'm running out of time, so I'm going to fly through some of this quickly, but you can see some of the metrics here on how quickly we can detect, investigate, and respond. We do tie in telemetry and data from a bunch of event sources, both Sophos products as well as third-party security products that you may be using today. And we do have a great breach protection warranty if we fail to live up to our MDR service. Now, the breach protection warranty covers $1,000 per protected device, up to 1,000 devices, and that's why you see the $1 million benchmark there. So just one more minute and then I'll be all done, but we do integrate to a bunch of different third-party security products you can see on the bottom there. That is a very small snapshot. We have many, many, many more. If you go to the website in the bottom there, and you can see which vendor you're currently using and if it potentially ties into Sophos. join us as a partner. Very easy to onboard. Just like the other vendor who was presenting earlier, we do have a specific team that'll help you and walk you through every step of the onboarding process. And wherever you are located, we do host a lot of partner events. They're free events. I host a lot of them. These are some of the ones I hosted last year. And we have current Sophos partners, new ones, resellers, you name it. It's a mixed bag of only partners. And you can learn about our products, our services, and mingle with some of our existing Sophos partners. Outside of that, here are the contacts which we'll be sending out if you need any assistance or you'd like to learn more about Sophos. And that's it
Awesome.
for me, Dan.
Thank you, Mark. And one of the things that stood out to me is just the fact that, we all know MSPs need multiple layers of protection, and that you guys offer that integration to be able to work with other solutions out there. So pretty cool. And I appreciate you sharing that information with us. And we're going to move on. If you do have questions for Mark, he'll be available in the demo room shortly. And we're going to move on to Peter. Peter, how are you doing? And Peter, how are you doing? Oh, Peter, you're on mute, my friend.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay,
How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing great. Let me share my screen, I suppose, right? Need to share my screen.
Please, please. And while we're introducing Peter with TruGrid, and he's going to be talking about their RDP solution. Peter, can you tell us something unique about yourself that you can tell to our audience?
For sure. For many people that know me, first of all, the audience, I want to thank you for joining this call. I always appreciate opportunity to talk to our partners, and we've been a partner with Everything MSP for a number of years, and we're happy to be part of this. So Dan, most people that know me know that I'm very passionate about technology. That's actually what makes me thrive. But what people
Yeah.
don't know is my second very close passion would be magic.
Ah,
I love magic. If someone were to ask me if I wasn't doing IT, what would I be doing? It'd probably be magic. So
that's cool. Well, abracadabra.
yeah, I know. So as a result, one of my annual pilgrimages to go to Vegas once a year, at least to go and watch a magician that I love, Copperfield, Blaine, Lance Button, and a few others. So
That's very cool. Well, we're going to kick things off. I'm going to go ahead and start our clock, and your 10 minutes begins now.
thank you. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. The goal of my pitch today is to talk about cloud-based RDP versus doing RDP over VPN, and I'm going to provide some context around that. But before I do that, I figure I'll let you all know a little bit about TruGrid. We were founded in 2017 in Schaumburg, Illinois. We're a US-based company, and our claim to fame is providing remote access security and simplified user experiences. Okay, so that's really what we thrive on. And we do that by using cloud technologies to eliminate security gaps. So as you very well know, there are many ways to do things today, but we've adopted the cloud as a primary method to do that. And we won several industry awards since we started. And for those who don't know, we actually did license the RDP technology from Microsoft in 2018. So I just thought we should know that. So to provide context for this pitch today, I figure we'll focus on how we work today. There are many ways people work today, but the two primary forms for the predominant population will be using your desktop as an endpoint or using your mobile devices. So endpoints could be Windows tablets, thin clients, Linux boxes, they're all desktops. Or you can have mobile, which is your phone or your tablets. And we can access native apps as one way to work, either on the Windows or Macintosh or tablets, or we can use SaaS. We can access web, like if you're doing SharePoint, you can actually use web for that. Or even if you're using mobile, you could do the same thing. But another third form of remote access is actually of working today is doing remote access over VPN or remote desktop. So the focus of my pitch today is how TruGrid can help you protect those of your employees and customers that are using remote desktop to actually work. And there are many ways to access remote desktops, and I'm talking RDP in this case. RDP, as we all know, many people on this call are techies, so you all know Microsoft RDP is built into the Windows operating systems, and it's one primary way to access applications, either on remote PCs or on VMs or even remote app. It can be done for organizations that have those PCs in an office or virtual machines being hosted in a virtual platform or remote apps, or in some cases to ERP vendors, whether you're accessing QuickBooks, Windows-based QuickBooks or Sage or other clinical apps through some hosted provider. Windows is still a very predominant way of delivering applications today. So, and that's the area of focus for TruGrid. As it turns out, many people know that you're not supposed to expose RDP. It's just a bad idea to expose RDP. So as a result, many people use VPN as a method to actually access RDP. And through what I'm going to share with you momentarily, you will realize that VPN is actually one of the least safe way. Now, if it's next to exposing RDP, the next least safe way to access RDP is to use VPN. And let me kind of talk to you about that momentarily. So thankfully, Sophos is on this call. So this, what you're seeing here today, this chart and the metrics is from Sophos website. As you all know, Sophos is one of the foremost companies in EDR, providing EDR. So as a result, they also provide incident response. So this is directly from Sophos's statistics since 2020. Sophos actually claims that of all the incident responses that they actually respond to for their clients, in 2020, about 70% of those incident responses are based on compromises of RDP. That increased to 80% in 2021, and as of 2023 last year, 90%. So RDP is still one of the ways that people actually get hacked. So attacks over RDP continue to rise, at least according to Sophos, which is one of the foremost vendors that actually provide security systems. And I provided a source at the bottom of the page there. So that's kind of why we are very happy to be in a position where we're providing security for RDP, and I'll discuss that momentarily. The second thing I want to talk about is how people access RDP. VPN is one of those methods. And VPN attacks on VPN also continues to rise. So more companies get compromised over VPN every year. This particular stat is from a company called Zscaler. They actually surveyed over 600 clients that use VPN. And when they started the survey, about 30% of them claimed they were compromised over VPN. And that number has risen to 50% of those companies being surveyed as of 2023 are claiming that they have been attacked over VPN. In case you wonder, how does that happen? Well, there are two primary ways that people get compromised over VPN. One is the VPN appliance itself, hosted in some cases within the firewall system or a dedicated appliance. So if you go to the CISA website, which is a cybersecurity infrastructure and security agency, you will notice that VPN continues to be in the top 5 methods that people are compromised. There's always, new vulnerabilities being found on VPN appliances. Okay, so that's one method that people get hacked. The second method is through the remote users. What many people don't think about is every remote user that you have using VPN is an extension of your network. Think about it. So if people are, and most people use VPN over public Wi-Fi. You could be using VPN from an airport, from a hotel, even from a Wi-Fi in your house. Those are, essentially, they're not dedicated to that company. So as a result, any attack on that end device that is running the VPN client can traverse the VPN tunnel to infect the remote system, either using SMB, file sharing, or even using HTTP or even RDP. Everything is exposed in that regard. Now, there are ways you can actually go ahead and try to shut down all protocols you don't need, but because it's so complicated, many people just don't do it. So VPN becomes exposed as a result, okay? So the question then is, what is the solution to this problem, right? RDP is one way you want to work, and you don't want to compromise it, you don't want to expose it. VPN as a primary method, as one of the foremost method also has its own compromise. So what is the solution then? Well, the solution is TruGrid Secure RDP. So with TruGrid, you can kill your VPN because VPN gives you exposure in multiple forms, whereas TruGrid Secure RDP gives you zero trust protection. How does it do that? With TruGrid, you don't have to open up any inbound ports. Everything sits closed, right? That's one of the benefits. No inbound ports. And then from the end user accessing RDP over TruGrid, there's no tunnel between that end user and the RDP systems. There's just none. We're using a proxy solution. That's why we say use cloud private access solution, which doesn't expose anything. Essentially, the way TruGrid works is only the application, TruGrid app, on that endpoint can actually create that tunnel into RDP. The foundational network layer on the endpoint cannot see anything. And that's why TruGrid is actually very secure. So quickly, let's go over, I know I have 2 minutes left. Let's go over some of the feature comparisons between RDP over VPN versus a solution like TruGrid. Security is number one. So with VPN, you have to have some sort of inbound firewall port exposure. With TruGrid, is zero trust, no inbound firewall. Performance is another thing. VPN traditionally works over public networks. With TruGrid, once you leave your ISP and other side, we put you on fiber optic mesh network. So one of the benefits of TruGrid is people don't complain about latency. Okay, so you're gonna love that. Management. VPN traditionally is very complex to set up and manage. People know that. TruGrid has a multi-tenant dashboard where you can manage multiple clients from a single console. Talking about compliance. Any form of exposure when you're trying to be compliant is a problem, right? So with TruGrid, there's no firewall exposure. MFA is integrated. You can do geo-blocking if you only want people to connect from certain countries. You can even leverage Microsoft Entra conditional access as a method. With 1 minute left, I'm going to skip over and show all of you how to connect with us. So on the screen, if you can take out your phone and scan this QR code, there's a QR code on the left over here. You'll be able to figure out how to sign up as a partner or even sign up for a demo. Some of the exclusive features of TruGrid are multi-tenant dashboard. You can brand your portal. It's month-to-month, no contract required. It's a streamlined deployment and support. And we have a comprehensive management and the reporting for you. And for all of you, thank you again. I'd love to see you in the demo room so I can show you more. Dan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter. And as we all know that since the pandemic, the work from anywhere methodology is not going anywhere. Organizations continue to offer that flexibility. Prior to the pandemic, it was a luxury for an employee to be able to work from anywhere. Today, it's standard operating procedure. So keeping those end users secure is so critical. And thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. And we're going to move on to our next section. However, this is going to be for our attendees that are live in the event. For those out there in online world on YouTube, this will conclude today's presentation. We hope that you enjoyed it. And as always, reach out to everythinmsp.com to stay in tune with our latest events. And until next time, take care. Thank you.